Hey, this is my podcasting voice. Welcome to the podcast. We're back. We're doing another recommendations episode. Today we're hanging out with
Marvin
and Jerusha.
Woo! If we had sound drops, this is where we'd kick in the applause. Wah, wah, wah. This is great, guys. We made it another week. We survived.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, right? It's only Monday. We're recording this on a Monday. Before we get started, did anybody watch anything cool this weekend? There was a lot of stuff to be watched. We should confess what we watched, whether it's good or bad. I'll go first, so you guys can think of something. If you guys maybe are like, I watched something Saturday, I can't remember. This is what I watched. I watched the Troll sequel. I think it's called Trolls World Tour.
Yeah.
that's you don't have to feel bad about that.
I don't feel bad about it. I don't ever feel
good.
bad
Sorry,
about
I'm being very presumptuous. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't ever feel bad about anything I watch. I feel like yeah, I've watched horrible things and been like, there's something to learn from that. It was horrible, but whatever. There's maybe a few musicals that I'm like, I'll never watch that again. Like La La Land.
Pixar movies.
Yeah. That's true.
The Muppets.
Yeah. Well, now you're opening a can of worms that I don't want to revisit. I watched Trolls World Tour and it was fine. I was confused. At first I thought it was a world tour. Like I don't know what I thought it was going to be. But how would they do a world tour in a movie? I don't know, but it was fun. They play like, pop and like rock music, and trolls sing them. Well, not trolls. I guess it's Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun for a kid, I guess. I would never watch it again, but I have to because I have a kid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great things you would never watch again,
Yeah. What did you watch, Marvin?
Well, last week I revealed what a giant anime weeb I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually watching more anime this weekend. But I was finishing off. I don't know if either of you have heard of the show. It's called My Hero Academia.
Yes, I have heard of it, and I see a lot of there's like toys and there's like a bunch of stuff, shirts.
Yeah. So it's a very the premise is very shonen. Shonen literally means boy in Japan. But shonen is a type of genre for like boys. And this is like a shonen in school. So basically it's like imagine if like heroes from like DC universe, specifically the DC universe, because the main hero, the biggest hero in this universe is like a parody of Superman.
Okay.
So it's like, imagine if the process of becoming a superhero in this world has become so routinized that you get to go to school for it. That's it. That's the whole premise of the show. And you just watch a little boy go, I want to be a hero too. And then his favorite hero of all time, All Might, aka the Superman parody character, goes, yeah, all right, I'll help you become a hero.
Aww.
And that's the show.
What does it air on? I was always curious about that.
It's on Crunchyroll. But I watched the whole season, which includes episodes which aren't out yet in the English Crunchyroll. So I've gotten it other ways. Let's not look too deeply.
Well, nowadays we're stuck at home, and there's really no rules. There's a pandemic.
No, the rules
going on.
are all gone.
Yeah.
It's a very quiet, polite purge right now. Everyone stays in.
I mean, did you hear in Louisiana that they're playing the purge noise?
Yeah,
they played it out loud by accident. Accident in quotes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You think someone was like, yes, this is my time, I've been waiting, and then they just fucking ran out and it was
in
just
all
empty?
honesty, they probably were searching for like siren sounds on like a sound search website thing, and they're like, oh, this one sounds good, let's use it.
Here's the thing, why didn't they use the natural like siren from the police car? Because it was the police department.
They want to. You just gotta be creative.
Yeah,
they're like, Tim, we need another. Tim's the intern at the police station. He's like, dude, you gotta download some good. People are used to our old police like sirens. We need something different. We need to really shake it up. we need to get people scared. And Tim's like a 19-year-old. He's like, I fucking know, I know exactly what to download, man. And he went and he didn't even download. He just pulled it he recorded it on his phone. He pulled it from the movie.
Yeah.
And it just sounded creepy.
The phrase of like we need to make people scared sounds like I think it's Sweden, where their riot police, their costumes, their uniforms are designed to be the scariest looking uniforms possible.
That's
so awesome. They have like these oppressive looking gas masks with like helmets on, and they wear trench coats, and they run around with rifles with like bayonets at the ends, and you're like,
what the fuck?
Because they're like, okay, if a riot's happening, we got to scare them into.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Backing off.
Jerusha, what did you watch?
I finally finished Succession.
Yes.
Have you? Yeah, it's been a long.
I know. I've been like hounding you to finish this for a long time, and you finally did. It ended. This is season 3. It's the current season.
Mine is season 2. I didn't finish.
Oh no! Sorry, you're right. It's season 2 that's current. They're starting to film season 3.
The whole season.
I scared you. and no, it's season 2. It ended exactly how I wanted it to end.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was everything. I would recommend it.
For those who don't know, Succession is a show streaming on. I guess if you have HBO, then it's not streaming. You could watch it on demand.
Anytime.
It's on HBO. Is it 30 minutes or an hour? I can't remember.
I think it's like an hour.
It's an hour.
They're long ones.
And it's about this like
it's an hour. Yeah.
It's like this like Rupert Murdoch type like family. It's the Murdochs, and they own like this Fox News station, and it's a conglomerate, and it's very like King Learish as well.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I really enjoy it, and you'd think like that sounds very dumb, and like why do I want to watch that now? But there's something about them that it's really well written.
It took
really
me
well written.
so long to watch it because I was like, rich white people. I don't give a shit about them. But then it's like it worked. Somehow it worked.
That's good.
Yeah,
it works. And for me, who's your favorite actor in that show? For me, it's the Culkin. Is it Rory? Kieran Culkin. Yes. I'm sorry.
Greg
Rory
is great though. Greg's just got it going on.
Cousin Greg is. It's hard to say that he's just so good.
Yeah,
because he's just himself.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a good actor necessarily, but he's a great character of a human being.
Yeah. I wonder if somebody did he audition for the role, or did someone go, no, I know this guy. I know this guy. I got this. You don't even audition. He'll just show up and just don't give him sides. Just put him in the scene. It's the guy who plays. I don't even know his name. He's amazing. He plays Cousin Greg.
Yeah.
Watch the first episode. Watch the pilot. I was hooked on the pilot because I was like,
same.
I was like you. Like I don't know this show. Too many white people in it. But look at us now.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
Yep. All right. So today we're doing our top 5 Hulu recommendations, whether it be TV, movies, or otherwise. There's cooking shows on there, so I don't know. Maybe you recommend a cooking show. Marvin, why don't you take it first? Take it away with our first pick, and then we'll go Marvin, Jerusha, and then me last. How's that?
Okay. Well, let's start off with something that's kind of like a classic choice, because there's a lot of Bond movies available on Hulu. But my favorite Bond movie in general, I would probably say even to today, is GoldenEye.
Yes.
Because it was like, debut of Pierce Brosnan as GoldenEye, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because when it first came out, people were like, he's too beautiful to be to be 007. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we want a very beautiful James Bond. And
he's also always been good looking, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like it was weird because like I think they were kind of basing it on like Timothy Dalton, where he's like kind of more rugged. And Pierce Brosnan's not rugged.
Yeah,
that's not his style. He's just like very suave, very good looking.
Yes.
But it's interesting because it's almost like if you did like Skyfall, but as the first movie of new series of GoldenEye movies, because it's like the first movie he's in is the movie where he's reminiscing on his life and his life as a secret agent, as if he's already had an entire career.
Huh.
And then it really plays really well with the fact that the movie kind of ends right around when the Cold War ends. So the movie's very much tied into like, you know, all of these like agencies and espionage and stuff that we built up, you know, to fight in the Cold War. It's suddenly all for nothing now because it's over. So it's like, are people like James Bond and his brother / rival / main bad guy of the movie, Alec,
Played by Lord of the Rings guy,
Sean Bean.
Yeah.
One of many Sean Bean villain roles. That it's one of the ones that kind of cement him as being like one of the most devious villains, because it's like he was a brother to him. He then like betrays him, and then like he even tries to steal his girl, and it's like all the shit's going down. But you know, it ends up being kind of heavy because James Bond kind of goes, you know, why are we even super secret agents anymore? Is there a place for this in this type of world? But then you have that with Alan Cumming as like this geeky hacker character who spoilers, but at the end of the movie he dies by getting frozen in liquid nitrogen.
Yes, dude.
So
just
you combine
like
that
2.
Yeah, you combine that with heavy subtext about the Cold War ending, and that's a GoldenEye.
Yeah. GoldenEye, directed by Martin Campbell, who also, so he rebooted Bond twice. He rebooted with Pierce Brosnan, and then in GoldenEye, and then he did Casino Royale with yeah. So he double dipped, but in a good way, because both the remakes of both the reboots were really well done, I thought.
Yeah, it's like he knows how to, like, because they're both very good restarts of a really, really over-treaded piece of material. Like, honestly. Because GoldenEye really makes it feel super fresh. And it's night and day between GoldenEye and the next movie, Tomorrow Never Dies. Because you watch Tomorrow Never Dies and you're like, okay, so now they've gone hyper modern. The newspaper hacker man is the bad guy. And we're trying to prevent the world being taken over by evil British news. And it's like a very different feeling type. And then like, let's just throw in Michelle Yeoh and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it just feels all over the place. Where GoldenEye actually feels very cohesive as to what it's trying to be as a movie. It's not just a bunch of like ideas thrown at a big salad and mixed together. It's like actually laid out really smoothly. And you actually feel for the characters. Like for the Natalia character, you do like, she is a like sort of a Bond girl, but not in the traditional way, because like she starts out as like a hacker who is actually like trying to actively figure out what's going on and find her friend. But you follow her story really directly. She's not just like a side thing.
Yeah.
She's like actually intertwined into what's going on. And, you know, it's just a lot of interesting things happening in a story where usually Bond movies aren't like very character driven, but this movie is like the core of it is the character between 07 and 06. Like that is what drives the whole thing. Like the Soviet subtext is cool, but at the end of the day, it's about like 007 feeling bad that he's been betrayed and he wants to make amends for it and wants to know why he's been betrayed.
Yeah. This is really a really good reboot by Martin Campbell, but then he gave us Green Lantern, so you know, good and bad.
I just saw that. Yeah, that's great.
For the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well, we need to know.
What did you think?
It was great. Yeah, I had no idea what was happening the entire time.
That's good. That's great. That's the best way to see it.
Green Lantern is the only movie one of only 2 movies I have walked out on.
That's understandable.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Once they were on the planet where they were supposed to be trained.
Yeah.
And then like they just keep throwing characters at you.
Yeah.
I know these characters. They're all Green Lantern comic book characters, but I'm like, I'm done.
Like, no more.
So same director. Jerusha, what is your first pick?
Ooh, All right. So I guess right now I've been looking for just things with a lot of hours to just lose myself in.
Yes.
So my first rec is the Bridget Jones's Diary trilogy.
I like this. I liked how you're framing this.
Yeah. So you can have a day, get some wine, and then just watch all 3 Bridget Jones's Diaries back to back to back.
Now the first one is Bridget Jones' Diary.
Yeah.
The second one is, what is it called?
The Edge of Reason.
Oh,
that's a great title.
It is.
That's a great. And the third one?
That one is just Bridget Jones's Baby.
Oh, okay. I only got through the first one, and I saw it in theaters. I think, and I didn't hate it. I don't know what I thought about. I must have been really young when I saw it, but I didn't realize that she wasn't British.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's so convincing.
Yeah. She's great in it. And the first one is like really good. I would say that in like an incredibly good film. And the second one kind of just shits completely on the first one, which like any rom-com, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of rom-coms, but like
we do.
Anytime there's a sequel, they just say, you know how like that beautiful love story you saw? Well, it was all bullshit. And everything's awful. And then let's do it again.
I'm really hoping they don't do a sequel of Always Be My Maybe, because after I watched that, I was like, this is great. Now stay perfectly still.
Never move.
Don't change.
Is Hugh Grant in the third one?
I think he's in the third one. That was, I mean, the wine had kicked in by the time I got to the third one, unfortunately.
It's very hazy. All you know is the title.
Yeah. Because it's just baby.
Okay. Yeah. I'm into this.
Yeah.
This is a great idea. You're making blocks of recommendation. I like that.
So you can take a day and just lose yourself, which I did do this, but I did it pre-quarantine when I could have done other things. So I think anyone can do it now.
Wait a minute. So you weren't stuck at home.
No,
you just chose to watch these 3 movies back to back.
I have some wine. Bridget Jones is streaming. Let's do this.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Hugh Grant is not in the third one.
Okay, so he's just
Colin Firth.
Yes, he's in it, which they did the thing again where they're like, love isn't real. Move along. And then she finds, like, I think it's McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy. I don't know what his real name is. But he's the new love interest.
Fantastic.
We're in.
All right.
And Renee Zellweger, it's Renee Zellweger, Colin Firth, for all 3.
Yeah.
And and just a Hugh Grant for the first 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm just a quick aside. Hugh Grant apparently was slated to be in the third, and he dropped out.
Why?
He read the script.
He betrayed the Bridget Jones experience.
Wow, that sucks. The director of Bridget Jones 1 also directed Tu Wong Fu.
Oh,
Thanks for everything,
that's why
Julie
it's so
Newmar.
good. That makes sense.
Yeah. He did not direct the sequels, so that should tell you that the quality is not. Oh, actually, no. I'm sorry. I apologize. He directed the sequel as well.
Edge of Reason.
So, yeah.
Well,
so we have that.
There's a lot of issues. It's not all the director.
Yeah. All right. My first recommendation is a movie that we all watched. I think Jerusha, Amanda, and I think Marcel, a couple of friends of ours watched at the same time, but we just kind of live texted each other.
Yeah.
It's a Hulu original. It's called Big Time Adolescence.
Mm-hmm.
It stars one beautiful actor named Pete Davidson. And that's really the big star for him. John Cryer's in it. He plays a supporting part, but it's just a fun coming of age movie. I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it this much, but I thought it was really well done. And I mean, we're already saturated with a bunch of coming of age movies, but this kind of stood out, and it was very modern, and I really enjoyed it. Jerusha, what did you think about it? You saw it too.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's just he's got so much face, that Pete Davidson. It's a lot to look at.
Yeah.
You need a good cinematographer to capture that.
To get it all in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they did. There's his whole face is in it.
Everything, his whole body
Yeah.
sometimes is in a full
So,
shot.
They did it.
You need to invent new lenses to be able to
Yeah.
deal with it.
It's a Hulu original. It's one of those movies that when the quarantine first started, here in LA, especially specifically, they released it. There was going to have a theatrical run for like a week, and then they released it on Hulu a week earlier. Just because
it did well at a Sundance, right?
Yeah. It legitimately is a good movie. I mean, we're shitting on Pete Davidson too much, but he's actually decent in it. I mean, he plays a shitbag.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does a good job of playing that part. I don't know how he'll do playing the good guy. I know he has a Judd Apatow movie coming out this year or next. If his character is anything like this, where he's like kind of heartwarming but kind of a shitbag, he's gonna do well. He's gonna do well. He's good at that. But we'll see. Only time will tell how this pans out for Pete Davidson. But this one was really well done. It's a first time writer director.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was really well done. Yeah. Well, for features, he had done a couple of he was an actor, I think, who had some writing skills, and he wrote and directed this.
Nice.
It was out of Sundance, and it's a great movie.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Marvin, what is your second pick?
Okay, second pick. Let's take a hard sci-fi turn. Because GoldenEye's a little sci-fi, but it's but
for its time,
for its time, but the movie, this is a movie I go back to every once in a while when I just kind of want to watch. It's like a warm blanket. Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan.
Nice, yeah.
So you know this about me, Ricardo. I'm like a big Trekkie person. I
we even talked about it last episode.
Yeah, exactly. And a nice part of Trek movies based on the original series is that I actually don't like the original series very much. I think it's like too much. It's a little too campy, and I can't take it very seriously because how it's hard to take seriously that there is a cowboy planet, or that stuff like that, and those only existed because they had the sets available at the time, and that's what they had to shoot. So that's why there was a cowboy planet and stuff like that. But the nice thing about the original series movies, unlike the Next Generation movies, is that it feels like a mature growing up of the show. So like, what if they were allowed to have budget and think about bigger topics, right? So Star Trek, even in the original series, Star Trek, each episode's kind of like about a theme, right? Mm-hmm. So the original the Star Trek, the motion picture, which is the first one, is about like finding your place in the universe and what your purpose is. And then the third one doesn't really have a theme at all. It's a stupid one. But then the fourth one, the one with the whales, as they often say, is more of like a throwback to how the original series was, but still having this theme about like eco-preservation and looking back on your history and, but in a fun way. But Wrath of Khan, I think, is like the most mature of those movies because it's about growing older and father-son relationships. And it's, for people who don't know the premise of Wrath of Khan, basically an old adversary of oh my God, I almost said Picard. That's how much Captain Kirk comes back, Khan, and basically tries to take his revenge on him because Kirk almost killed him. And basically the movie, Kirk is basically trapped most of the movie, and then they have a fight, a battle cruiser, starship fight at the end. That's like, they just fire like 3 shots at each other, and that's the whole fight. But it's like super exciting. It's hard to sell it with the synopsis, but it works because the actor of Kirk, I almost said Patrick Stewart. Oh my God, why can't I not remember names right now?
Ricardo Montalban?
No, of the actor for Kirk,
Shatner.
obviously. I can't. William Shatner, duh, one of the most famous actors of all time. I can't remember.
Why couldn't we both? I give you the wrong name completely.
I fucked it all up. Yeah, it's a shared fucked up thing I shared in my brain. But he's also growing older. He's not as well built as he was when he was in the original series. Now he's a little chunkier. He's got gray hair. His body isn't what it used to be, and the movie reflects that. And there's like a good little gimmick where he's like, he wears reading glasses, and it's like, you don't need to wear reading glasses in this universe, but he does it because, it's like just like a metaphor for like, he's moving on, and even though he's not doing the exact things he wants to be doing from back in the past, he still finds purpose. So it's like a good character study on Captain Kirk, and that's why I like it a lot. It's also just a good old sci-fi movie with like, it's where the carnivorous earworm thing comes in, where someone's being interrogated with the earworm, and of course the famous Khan yell that J.J. Abrams stole for his movy.
That didn't work.
No,
but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know what?
And Spock's greatest moment is in Wrath of Khan,
which
where
is
you have to put the needs of the many above the needs of the few.
Yep. Which is a great line. I for someone who's like not a big Trek person, this is like even. So I like the J.J. Abrams, the first one, his first reboot. I enjoyed it.
It's a great movie. It's a lot of fun.
Accessible. Yeah. But out of all the old ones, I like First Contact, I think, and I like this one a lot. Well, this one specifically, just because it's so accessible for anybody. Because it's just you don't have to. It helps if you saw that episode where you see Khan for the first time, but you don't need to, and it's very accessible for people who don't like Star Trek. It just works on its own.
Yeah, you don't need to, because like when the motion picture happened, like that movie was so inaccessible that I think for Wrath of Khan they were like, okay, we're gonna really explain what's going on here before we get into it, because a lot of people are kind of out of the loop and not sure what's going on. Yeah, and you don't even really. It barely even connects with the original show at all, because Khan looks completely different. I mean, granted, you have to, because in the original show, he was basically in yellowface, so it didn't. It wasn't a great look, but he looks dramatically different with like the big white hair and like the shirt showing off his bouncing pecs and all that. Montalban gives an amazing performance. Like you really believe his hate. It's so deep, and you're not sure why, because they don't fully explain that part other than Kirk almost killed him. But the performance is so good that you believe from the depths of your soul that he really fucking wants to kill Kirk.
Yeah. So not only is it accessible for non-Trek fans, but it also has that cool backstory for people who have been watching forever. Or the show. Very cool. I like your pick. Jerusha, what is your second recommendation?
My second rec is Peep Show. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
I have never heard of it.
Yeah. It's definitely
the British the British show, right?
Where it's like first person, and it's just, it sounds dirty, but it's just about miserable 30-year-olds in London. That's one of my favorite shows. I think it's good for right now because they're just miserable. So it's like, if you're miserable, that'll keep you company.
And it's first person?
It is. It's all shot first person, which is like weird, but it's not like, once you get into it, it feels natural.
So this show is how many seasons? 9. 9 seasons. Can I give you a little trivia that I just found out because I clicked on one of the names? So one of the creators of the show is also the creator of Succession.
What?
Oh.
Yeah. Jesse Armstrong. He was one of the 3 creators of Peep Show. He is the showrunner and show creator of Succession.
That's insane. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks for tying
this whole thing in,
bringing it around.
Yeah, and
nice little.
So it's just a bunch of like English people being miserable.
It's like 2 guys that are friends and they're roommates, and it's from both of their perspectives. So there's like an internal monologue or dialogue kind of going, and then also their perspective.
And whose perspective are you in? Like, is the camera in?
It's in one of theirs. Like, it's always going between
okay.
one of their
It
perspectives.
switches.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or like
okay.
sometimes
That's
it'll
very
be
cool.
like someone else, like you'll see them and then they'll look and then it was like someone on the street that's random that was looking their way, which is kind of like once you watch it like as many times as I have, like 30 like each episode, you'll like kind of see like, oh, that's where they got that angle, and like it's pretty creative.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Have they tried to make this like remake the show and like for American audiences?
I wouldn't doubt it, but I'm glad that if they tried it didn't succeed, because I feel like it has to have that like very dry British humor to work, because it kind of distracts from like the weirdness of first person is just like them being British and like just pissed off at everything all the time.
It's kind of amazing how long it lasted. Given that one, it has to run off of this first person perspective for everything, which is an extremely difficult thing from a production standpoint to maintain. And two, it's a British show. What British show lasts 54 episodes?
I know, so, right?
Like, you need a massive force of will to make this show work for that long. So it's kind of amazing.
And it's also great because like it's a British show, so they just did whatever they wanted. So they're like, yeah, we're going to take a 3-year break between seasons and write it. And then it works because they took time to write. And so it's like not cramming like 26 episodes in like one season.
That is, we talked about the British seasons in the last episode, how we love how they do their seasons. They're just good at it. And this show
the
ran
freedom they get to have, like just because I love how the people who run the BBC are kind of like, we just have like a queue and we don't quite know what the schedule is going to be. Do you have something ready? Okay, great. Let's just slot it in. Great. And they just show stuff.
Yeah.
There's a great show that I should just recommend. It's hard to find. It's not hard to find if you just download it legally. It's called Utopia. I've been talking about it to these people forever. I'm talking about you, Jerusha. You haven't watched it probably yet, but it's a beautiful show. It's like this weird, like government conspiracy / like comic book thing that it was made by not the BBC. It was made by Channel 4, I think, in the UK, and it had 3 seasons, 3 episodes, I think, each, or 4 episodes, and it. Even though it leaves off on a cliffhanger because they stopped it so they stopped making it so they could come make it in America. They relaunch it, and David Fincher was going to be involved, and the original showrunner was going to be involved, and then HBO dropped out of it, and so did David Fincher, and so it they stopped doing it, and now they're bringing it back on Hulu. Actually, I think it's coming out next year. And
I think
the girl.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, it's just what I'm seeing here. It says Amazon got the rights.
Yeah. Well, Amazon, I think, hadn't, or maybe Hulu did, and now Amazon does. One of those two is going to show it next year, and it now is the showrunner is the writer of Gone Girl, Julian Flynn.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's awesome.
She's
that's hence the Fincher connection and why.
Yeah. Well, she stayed on because she did the first adaptation for HBO, and then she stayed with the project and moved over to the new streaming service. So
awesome.
But I am looking forward to it because it does. From what I saw, the cast looked cool. But if you get a chance, even though it leaves on a cliffhanger, check it out. Mm-hmm. It's also it's a European show. Nice. It's called Utopia. All right, real quickly, because I chomped on some of people's time. My next recommendation is an 80s movie. It's a romance comedy action adventure. It's Romancing the Stone.
Oh, yes. Nice.
And these are all movies that I've watched fairly recently. Just because it's sometimes you recommend something, and you're like, I haven't seen that in like 10, 15 years, and you're like, it's not good. It's not good.
Not hold up.
But this actually holds up. It's fun. It stars Danny DeVito. Yes, I went with him first. Danny DeVito, Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner. Who else would you recognize? The villain El Guapo from Three Amigos, Alfonso Arau. He's in this. He has a really funny part. But I'll give you the quick IMDb synopsis pitch. A mousy romance novelist sets off to Colombia to ransom her kidnapped sister and soon finds herself in the middle of a dangerous adventure hunting for treasure with a mercenary and a rogue.
Yeah.
So check that out. It is fun. It's really funny.
It's
There's
so
some really funny
good.
parts. And it's like peak Michael Douglas. He's like awesome. He's suave. It's a little bit like Indiana Jones, but there's like a really good romance element to it. I would say that really the lead is Kathleen Turner, and she does a really good job.
Mhm.
She's like a fish out of water in Colombia, and it's awesome.
Zemeckis movie.
This is a Zemeckis movie. It's his third. I was going to mention. So there's a really good documentary in this DVD, which you could probably find on YouTube. If you watch the movie on Hulu, go on to YouTube, and there's a good documentary on this and Back to the Future where they track Robert Zemeckis' career and how he literally had. So like his first movie was a bomb. This was Used Cars was the second movie. That was a bomb. Bombed at the box office, and this bombed too.
What?
It had some success, but it didn't do as well as they thought. And so he had 3 bombs, and they still gave him Back to the Future to direct. So
Spielberg in your corner will get you pretty far.
yeah. And after Back to the Future, his kind of career kind of like skyrocketed. But it just shows you that
it's not for lack of creativity. Like
no.
Like this is still peak Zemeckis, where he still actually gave a crap about the craft of film rather than the technology.
Yeah. Which he's really wrapped into right now. And all the movies that bombed actually were good movies. Like Used Cars is a really good movie. This is a really good movie. I've never seen I Want to Hold Your Hand, which is his first movie, but I've actually heard good things about it. So go check out Romancing the Stone. That's my recommendation. Marvin, what's your next recommendation?
So my next recommendation is the only Jason Reitman film that I like fully enjoy, which I would, and it is Up in the Air. So I almost didn't want to watch Up in the Air because right before this he made Juno, right? And I really don't like Juno. The dialogue in Juno really turns me off. Because I'm not a fan of quirky for the sake of quirky, and it just the way the characters progressed and were written just didn't really jive for me. But it as Up in the Air, and really Thank You for Smoking also shows that it was really the script that kind of made it that way. Thank You for Smoking is also pretty great, but I think Up in the Air is like peak great Jason Reitman in my opinion, because it's what happens when you take you go in the hands of George Clooney. George Clooney kind of like shepherds the movie he's in, right? He's almost like a dramatic version of like a Tom Cruise. If you throw Tom Cruise in an action movie, he'll like shepherd the movie, right? And like really do his best to make sure that movie succeeds in the way he needs to as an action movie. George Clooney, if you throw him in a dramatic role, he really goes out of his way to make sure that he'll shepherd the movie in a great dramatic role as well, right? He kind of does this with Soderbergh movies, and he does this with like Coen Brothers movies, right? And although there's a lot of comedy examples in those, but in Up in the Air, he really grounds the whole thing as this guy who has to do horrible things by like fire. Basically his job is to go around firing people for other people, and he lives a lifestyle that everyone would think is awful, in that he loves to fly and live in airport terminals, basically. But he's so fucking charming that you just go, you know what, George, I would like to see more. And then you throw in Anna Kendrick, who at the time was like, kind of still rising star in her career. So she really easily fits into the role of this character who's supposed to be like his sidekick and sort of like learn the ropes from him. And then you throw in Vera Farmiga, who is like the love interest. And you get this fun trio that doesn't always interact together in the movie, but when they do, it's great because they have this fun dynamic. And it's like, it take a topic where it's just like, it seems kind of like a gimmick, because it's like, okay, it's just about a traveling man who has a terrible job. And then it turns into more of just like an exploration of what are you supposed to find important in life? And he's in the peak of his career, like probably has gone like by the time the movie reaches its climax, he gets his like the 10 million mile mark he wants to get on his frequent flyer miles, right? And that's the peak of his life so far, which is like very sobering moment for him. And Anna Kendrick's character, she's just starting out on her career, so she's like, we're trying to, by bouncing off of what he's doing, she goes, okay, I'm going to try to figure out what else to do with my life. So it's like a really interesting exploration of how these characters bounce off each other and they show these themes. And I don't think like he plays with those ideas a lot, but like I think like his second best movie, like Thank You for Smoking, like it doesn't, there's no real like, there's a lot of similar things happen, but at the end of the day, the character is the same, right? He's still a jerk who represents terrible companies. Up in the Air is almost a remake of that because it's also they're both starring really charming guys who are jerks. But at the end of the day, George Clooney's character grows up as a character, whereas in Thank You for Smoking, the guy does not. So it's a bit more satisfying to me that way.
And like he perfected that formula, I think. And by his second movie, he was like, "I got this. I'm confident." And George Clooney's leading my movie. I'm good. I like George Clooney playing like a guy who's peaked already. Like that's like he does that really well. I think he did it really well with like the first Ocean's movies, where you kind of see that
he carries those movies so well. Because it's like, well, the whole cast, like the trio, Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, like work really well. But it's clear they're all kind of following his lead whenever a scene's happening.
Yeah, totally. And the other movie that if you have the add-on of Cinemax on Hulu, you can get this movie, which is, I would say, my second favorite Clooney movie. It's Michael Clayton. Michael Clayton is, I mean, it constantly is in the battle for my favorite George Clooney movie, because my favorite one is probably Oh Brother Where Art Thou, but
that's really hard to beat.
Yeah. So Michael Clayton is just really well done, and it's the same kind of character where it's like this guy's peaking, he already peaked, sorry, and he's kind of he doesn't know where he stands in life and in his career, and he's just really good at that. That's a great pick, man. And there's so many like very good actors in this. Even though I don't like Anna Kendrick in many things, she is kind of perfect in this. Like,
she fits the role perfectly because she plays like the upstart who's like, I'm new, but I have a better system than you guys, and everyone's going, no, it doesn't. And I don't want to spoil what happens because she introduces her system, but basically, like, big consequences happen because she does not listen. And that changes the way she views how she should pursue her career, along with the way George Clooney's character is going like, you know what? I've been doing this for a long time. What do I really have to like? He has that speech where he's like, what's in your backpack, right? And then he turns out that he doesn't really have a lot in his backpack because he spent most of his life working on this career that doesn't really have much to show for. And, maybe you should be spending more time with his family or actually viewing the world with all of those traveler miles, So.
Yeah. There's just running down the quick list of the cast members: Jason Bateman, Amy Morton, Melissa Linsky, who plays the sister, J.K. Simmons, Sam Elliott, Danny McBride, Zach Galifianakis. It's really like packed with like really good like day players.
It's a great
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher ran.
Wow, I don't remember that.
That's right. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
All right. Jerusha, what is your next recommendation?
My next one is a Hulu original, which I feel like they don't have a lot of originals, but they do have some pretty good solid ones. And this, I think, is one of their best. It's 10/15. You guys, it's basically just a show about friendship, and it's in middle school, but they're adults. It's kind of like What Hot American Summer. And like adult.
I just realized what 10/15. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like Penn Station 15. Like okay, maybe there's something.
Yeah, but I think it's great. It's a good anything about like a tight friendship. I think I'm kind of a sucker for, and this one's definitely up there. with I'm also like anyone that was in middle school in the early 2000s. It's pretty relatable.
It's funny because I'm a sucker. I think that's why I liked Big Time Adolescence, because I'm kind of a sucker for like coming of age movies. I don't know. That's something about them.
Yeah, right.
You're like, oh,
it's just something that
if it hits right, I think if it hits right, it's universal. Don't you think, Jerusha? Like whether you're male, female, whatever. Like if there's universal themes, you're like, oh, I totally relate to that. That was totally me.
1,000%.
Yeah. So it's older actors.
Yeah, so they're like in their 30s, but they're playing middle schoolers. But then everyone else is children.
And everyone plays it straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty great.
And it's a movie, not a TV show.
It's a TV show.
Okay. And is it British or is it American?
It's American. It's like it just came out last year, and they're supposed to have a second season, but I don't know if that's delayed now. But I would definitely recommend it. It's pretty fun. And I hadn't seen these like girls before, the actresses, but they're hilarious.
Did they create the show?
And then it's produced by like Andy Samberg and some other like comedians.
Like, okay. I do like that when you like get some like indie people that just wrote a good script and they're like, well, we want to be in it. So if you want to buy it, you're gonna have to make it. I like that, because then you're like, oh, these people who probably wouldn't have a voice as an actor have this cool like vehicle for them to do.
And now they're playing middle schoolers.
Yeah. Nice. All right.
I like how they were just
10-15.
like, screw it, we're just gonna play them.
I wonder how that pitch was, and then we play the middle schoolers. You guys, we do. But then like other actors,
we have to like digitally de-age you, or
no, we're not. No.
And they'll be makeout scenes, and don't worry, the boys will be in middle school.
Oh, really? Really? No way.
It's not like actually happening. They work around it, but yeah, there's a lot of awkward just on the fact that they're much older than the men that they're in love with.
That's awesome. I do like. There's a lot of really cool coming of age stuff now. I mean, this is probably one of them. That like. A lot of the streaming services that's what they're kind of doing, because that's kind of what sells. Like this, Sex Education on Netflix is another one. Like, there's a lot of cool like stuff.
Oh
yeah. I forgot about that. Is that having that has a new season, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is it on second or third?
I think it's third now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Pan 15 coming soon, maybe.
Hopefully.
Second season.
Yeah, we can only hope.
I'm a child. I just laugh whenever I hear it.
All right, my third movie is it's from 2016. It's a great movie, I think. It's probably his best movie. I would say that. I'm talking about The Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh, that was on my list too.
Well, there we go. Then we knocked two of them out in one with one stone. It's Taika Waititi, written and directed by Taika Waititi. It's his third film, I think.
Third major film, at least.
Yeah. Because he had co-directed What We Do in the Shadows, the movie.
Yeah.
And he had done he had done Boy, right?
Boy and Eagle vs. Shark. Eagle vs. Shark was his feature premiere.
That's right. Which I like a lot.
Yeah. And What We Do in the Shadows is definitely like a lot of his language, but it wouldn't be what it is without Jermaine either. So
yeah. This is his, like, I mean, this is based on a book, but it definitely is his voice. And I think I mean, this is what got him the Thor movie.
Yeah. And also, like, I think it's his best movie, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I love Thor Ragnarok, and I love
Jojo.
What was it? Jojo Rabbit, but this is definitely my favorite movie of his. I think I'd rather watch this over anything else that he's done over and over. I could watch this every day and I'm fine with it.
Well, it's just like because it's so entrenched in the New Zealandness of it, where like he's just because he's so comfortable in that tone that he'll drag it kicking and screaming into other movies to make it work. But when it's a movie that's entirely based in that tone, like you can see how comfortably he can maneuver in it. And like, you know, he's one of those directors that tends to like kind of overshoot and then re-edit, like do it in the edit, like kind of pare it all down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in some movies you can feel that. You can definitely feel it in Thor Ragnarok, despite, you know, it being a fairly fast movie. And in some parts of Jojo Rabbit, you can feel it, but you don't really even feel it in this movie at all, just because it feels like everything meshes together so well with the way the characters bounce off each other.
Yeah. So the quick like pitch, it's a national manhunt is ordered for a rebellious kid and his foster uncle who go missing in the wild New Zealand bush. This kid, he's amazing. He was good in the Deadpool sequel. That's probably where you would most recognize him from. He's a kid who yeah. And he's good in that, but he's just uncensored in this one. And he's really, really funny. So basically, this kid goes to live with these foster parents, and the foster mom dies, and the I guess her husband, she's not really married to him. They're just living together. They've been living together for years. He's really sad, her husband, and he just wants to go into the bush and kind of disappear. And this kid doesn't want to go back to the foster home, so they kind of go on the lam together, and they think the guy, the foster dad, kidnapped the kid, and hilarity ensues. I shouldn't say very much. Just that there's a very, very iconic lines that I always think about, and they make me laugh. He names his dog Tupac, and it's great. He wants to be a thug like Tupac, and it's just funny. Everybody he meets, they're amazingly funny. Darby, what's his name? The actor that plays the he's in all the Taika Waititi movies, and Reese Darby's amazing. Yeah. He plays the crazy psycho. He plays Psycho Sam.
That's right.
He's amazing. Every time I think of a scene, rethink like, oh, that scene where they go back to that hut and they're like, where they think he's touching him.
Yeah.
God damn it, dude. This is a good movie. Check it out. It's streaming on Hulu. What do you have to lose? It's a New Zealand movie, but
it's so
get over
good.
it.
It has so much heart. Like it's like really raunchy, but you feel very strongly for the main characters, and even to an extent, some of the people chasing him. Like Taika's really good with kids. Like he's surprising. Like because Jojo Rabbit, Roman Griffin Davies like knocks it out of the park too. It's like I don't know. There's something about the way he casts kids and younger actors in general. He just really knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
What is his next movie? Do we know?
So apparently he's trying
Thor, right?
Well, Thor, yes. But he's apparently also been in talks with Netflix about something, but I'm not sure. Some sort of like, it was like something completely out of left field.
Wasn't he doing Akira too for a while?
He was. I think that's like in development hell now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like
just
it always
because
is with that property.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Netflix one. So apparently it's 2 animated series for Netflix. One is directly based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah.
And the other is based on just the Oompa Loompas.
That's weird.
So I don't know. This is a man who can both make a Marvel movie, Hunt for the Wilder People, Eagle versus Shark, and also an animated Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie. I'm not sure what he can't direct.
Yeah.
And episodes of The Mandalorian, like
which were really good.
Yeah, what can he not do at this point?
Yeah. That's my recommendation. That's my third recommendation. Marvin, back to you.
So this is a movie that's kind of close to my heart, just because at the time when we watched this, my friends in college, was it with college or am I sort of like making things up? But basically, Zombieland.
Nice.
I like
Yes.
Zombieland quite a bit because it has that thing where back in college, my friends and I used to run a club called the Zombie Survival Club, based on the Zombie Survival Guide by Max
Nice.
Brooks. And the book is very dry and straightforward. It basically is like, here are the things you got to do when there's a zombie thing happening. Make sure you're healthy, stay fit. Have these supplies ready on hand. If a big thing starts happening, make sure to fill your bathtub with water, because you never know when the water's going to turn off. Things like that. And then you watch Zombieland, and Jesse Eisenberg's character at the very beginning has very similar like rules. He's like saying, make sure you're in shape, because he's like, he's like cardio, right, or something. And and then like I'm like I identify with this character immediately. And then and then Woody Harrelson shows up and he plays the crazy guy, as he often does. And then and then you have the Emma Stone and the Abigail Breslin, and they're like just along for the ride sort of thing. And then suddenly Bill Murray's in there as himself, and they kill him, and and then zombies are happening, and that's the whole movie. And it's not like it's super like tight or any like not. It's not like it's super like high level thinking or anything, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast with the creators of this, and it was fun to hear all the people that they had. So the original cameo they had, because it wasn't Bill Murray. Originally it was Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
And Joe Pesci said no. And then they literally had a list of scenes that would work if they had other actors in them. So they had Joe Pesci. I forget the other ones, but they were really funny too. Yeah. And then they got Bill Murray, but Bill Murray has famously a weird way he agrees to do movies, and he doesn't have an agent. He has a lawyer, and you call in a phone service that you get his number. That's a voicemail, and then you leave a message, and then the lawyer will tell you, yes, he'll show up the first day of shooting, but you don't know, you don't have any confirmation. So they were waiting. They're like, he's not going to show up. It's Bill Murray. He's not going to show up. And he's like, he showed up on time. He showed up at the exact hour. He's like, and he was ready to go. But yeah,
but he also didn't want to do the script when he got there.
No. He's like, I'll just do my own thing. And he's like,
we'll just do some stuff. Do you want to do Ghostbusters stuff? Sure.
Yeah. And have you guys seen the sequel?
I haven't. No,
I have not at the moment. No.
Okay. It's fun. I thought I really enjoyed it as well. I thought it was really well made, and it was funny.
The movie was originally a pitch for a series. So when they were like, because they originally did want it as a series, but they're like, fuck it, let's just make the movie. And then Woody Harrelson said he had so much fun making the movie. He's like, you make a sequel or you make a series, I'll be back, and lo and behold, it's also Jesse Eisenberg's last big comedy thing before he got into Social Network. And then was it Social Network was after this, right? I think
it was before.
Was it before? Okay.
It was before, yeah.
Well, it was his last big comedy thing before he started
doing serious stuff,
getting really serious. Yeah. And then he kind of got back into it with that weird martial arts movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's a really good comedic actor. I think
he should do way more comedy. It's like what I say about David Lynch. He should do way more comedy.
Yes. Yeah. He's a really good, because he takes things so serious that it just comes off really funny.
He's a great straight man. Yeah.
These guys are the same guys that did this was their first breakout movie. But by the way, I should mention this. They did make a TV show. I don't know if you remember. It was Amazon's first TV show.
Oh, did they?
And it failed. It ran for 4 episodes. It was when they first started doing TV shows, and they were doing this thing where they would do trial runs. They would do 4 episodes, and then people would vote on them what show they should continue. I don't know if you remember that.
They used to do pilot seasons, a fake pilot. Yeah.
And this was one of them, and it was not good. I watched the first episode. It was horrible. And then they decided to go back and do the sequel. But these are the same guys that did Deadpool 2. They also did a movie that's streaming on Netflix that you could watch now. It's called Six Underground. It's a beautiful movie with Ryan Reynolds. But yeah, that's a great pick, dude. Jerusha, what is your next recommendation?
It is another Hulu show. It's called The Act. Have you guys seen that one?
Oh, I've heard about this, but not seen it. Tell us, give us the pitch.
It's based on a true story, and if you have HBO, I think you can watch the documentary called "Mommy, Dead, and Dearest." I don't want to spoil it because it's a ride, but it's basically a mother and her daughter move into a town, and the daughter has just like everything medically wrong with her possible. And then as like it gets going, you kind of wonder what's going on. Is this really happening? And then it culminates in something pretty big.
It's
and I remember this now.
I remember this. I remember this now. And it's based on a true story, right?
The true story, and then you can watch the doc, which is also fascinating. Like it's one of those that has the most interesting people talking about the most horrifying things.
Which I think. So this is my pitch is that this works really well if you watch the scripted series first and then go watch the documentary because you get more out of it. It's like a weird sequel that has more information. I wish they would have done the same thing with Tiger King because you would have watched. Imagine you watching Tiger King the series and being like, these characters are so over the top. This would never happen.
This can't be real.
Yeah,
what a crazy show.
They release a documentary and you're like, oh my god, they're worse.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This is famously Patricia Arquette won a Golden Globe, was it, for this? And then she accidentally hit what's the actress that she hit? The girl who plays her daughter, Joey King, in the eye.
Right, when she got up.
The Golden Globe.
Oh no.
Oh, genius.
It's fitting for the story.
It's basically
yeah.
I never saw this, but it did look interesting, and I did hear about the actual like, true story, which is really interesting. And now I'm curious to watch this. I didn't know it was actually on Hulu. I thought it was another. For some reason I thought it was like
it's like I feel like Hulu doesn't have a ton of originals, so you kind of forget that they have them, and then it's like, oh, they actually make some good stuff. Which this one I think is up there. Like it just, it's one of those stories where like there's something weird, and then you kind of pull at it, and then it's just like all the insanity falls down in your face.
The Act. It came out like last year, right? I think. Yeah. All right. My next recommendation is it's a kids movie. I think I like to throw in kids movies once in a while. Just you don't know who's watching with who, especially right now you're cooped up at home. You want to watch a movie that the whole family can watch. Watch Bumblebee. It's streaming on Hulu. Did anybody watch this?
I have not, but Marcel tells me all the time that I should.
It's a really fun movie. It's it does everything that the first Transformers tried to do, and kind of the thing that Transformers had was a young Shia LaBeouf that was going crazy.
Pre-crisis,
pre-crisis. And the truth is, he didn't go crazy. He just kind of it's Honey Boy also is a great movie that you should watch because it's
throwing some Honey Boy in there.
Yeah. Throw in some Honey Boy, and then you'll realize what's wrong with Shia LaBeouf, which is nothing. It's just his dad. Yeah. Like everybody's problems, your parents. So Bumblebee, it's a really good another coming of age movie. It's Haley Steinfeld playing the lead. I just work so much better when it's just one Transformer you have to deal with, and not all of them. And it's a period piece. It takes place in the 80s. That works so much for me because I like the music. It takes place in 87. And it's
an appropriate time period for Transformers movies as well.
Yeah. It's also because of the show. The show was in the 80s, so it makes sense. This is I don't want to say it's kind of a reboot. It originally wasn't, but now it is a relaunch. So they're
So are
telling
they
the story of-
rebuilding the series based on this?
Yeah, I think it did so well that they're going to do the whole series based on this now
Nice.
instead of going back, which it works. John Cena plays a bad guy who kind of
John Cena's in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. You gotta watch
now
it,
I'm
Marvin.
really interested.
Yeah.
You had me at Haley Steinfeld. But
She's
now
really good. She's really good. It's Haley Steinfeld, Pamela Adlon,
Pamela Adlon's in it too.
yeah, John Ortiz and John Cena. It's
What
just
a
a great
movie.
movie. It's a coming of age movie with Bumblebee. What else do you need? It's heartwarming. It's the most heartwarming of all the Transformers movie, which is saying a lot because they're not really heartwarming. It's nice. Check it out. It's good for kids too. Like there's nothing really inappropriate about it at all. Jerusha, did you like it? What did you think of this? You could shit on it if you didn't like it.
No, it's fun. And Bumblebee is such a good character. Like he was always my favorite Transformer. So it's fun that he got a movie of his own.
Yeah. And he's the original Bug, not like the.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
they made him the
Hot
Bug
Rod.
too. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all. These are all positive changes.
Yeah. And the so they show Cybertron in like the beginning of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nothing like the Michael Bay movies. It feels like the cartoons.
Okay,
It
it's a
feels
happier
like-
place.
Yeah. It feels like a cartoons. It's really well done, dude. You should
Okay.
definitely watch it, dude.
Okay.
Just watch the first 5 minutes, and if you don't like it, stop it. Especially right now that kind of we're in a dark place. The whole world is in a dark place. Put this on, put a smile on your face. Bumblebee. Marvin, are we at 5? Is this your 5th recommendation?
This would be the 5th for me.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, you said a kids movie, but let's end with the real downer.
Yes.
I was surprised this is on Hulu, but cool. Grave of the Fireflies. Have either of you seen Grave of the
No.
Fireflies?
I don't know why that sounds familiar.
Okay, so Grave of the Fireflies, it's a Studio Ghibli movie, but it's about 2 orphan kids during World War II. And this is not spoilers because in the first 2 minutes of the movie, it's like a I think it's a brother who's like 12 years old and his little sister who's younger than him. And he dies at the beginning of the movie. Because they lived in the streets and society had not taken care of them during the problems of World War II. So the movie is actually shown through the perspective of their spirits looking back on their lives. So it's an interesting framing device because you see like the horrors of how they survived during World War II and like the poverty they had to endure and all of the shame and stuff, right? Like they were originally taken in by their aunt, but their aunt kicks them out, or they leave because they don't want to follow her rules and stuff like that. And, they try to get by, but it's all framed by this idea of, they died, which is a interesting way to frame it because you're not then going to be like utterly shocked at the end of the movie that they don't survive. What it ends up being is that you know what it is, therefore you're watching the process of it's like watching like a mystery like develop, and it's like, how did it get that bad? How could it possibly have gotten that bad? And it's based on a short story where the author of that short story wrote it because he had actually been in the exact same situation with his sister, his little sister in Japan during World War II, and his sister passed away. So he wrote this short story almost as an apology to her by saying, I wish I could have taken care of you, or at the very least, gone with you. Downer movie.
God damn it, Marvin. God damn it, dude.
Well, but
I'm getting a little sad just listening to you, dude.
The best part, this was a double feature with My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh God.
So imagine you taking your kids out back in the 80s. I think it was the 80s when this movie came out. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to take my kid out. We're going to go see a nice animated double feature. Let's start with My Neighbor Totoro. Oh, what a nice, charming movie. And let's get to the A movie, because My Neighbor Totoro is technically the B movie.
Wow.
And then they start watching it and they go, "Oh my dear God." My child's age has just died of exposure at the beginning of the movie. And so let's get out of here. And so the movie predictably bombed in theaters.
Wow.
So yeah,
a lot of these movies, a lot of these like studio, what's it called? The
Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, some of the ones that bomb are some of the best ones. Like some of the ones that like even the Miyazaki movies that are like B level Miyazaki, they're still fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they're still great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like this is like well treaded ground in Japan as well. Like they made 2 live action versions of this movie as well.
Really?
Well, because it's just like it's such a, like when it came out, it was such a scathing criticism of Japanese society during a time of crisis that you know it just kind of showed them like more and more like what it's because it also incites debate about what the right decision was. Like, was it right for the ant to treat them that way? Was it right for them to have run away? And if so, should society have turned their back on them in that way? And, it was like, there's no real right or wrong answer. Like, it's hard to have the right answers during a time of war, right? So that's what the movie is kind of exploring. That being said, you can't get away from the kind of like shock of it all about how it could end up that way. And there's like all these like moments where like they like there's a candy in Japan called Sakuma drops, which are basically little candies that taste like fruit. And then there's this scene where like it's her favorite candy, but they're out and it comes in a can, right? So the brother, to like try to get more candy for her, fills the can with water and then like shakes it so all the sugar turns into a liquid. And then she drinks it. And it's like there's lots of little scenes like that here and there where it's just like it's a lot of character building to kind of set you up for what you know exactly is already coming. And it's devastating. So what a great way to end your night.
God damn it, Marvin. All right. Look, we had to go to a dark place. And I'm glad it was you.
You went dark last week.
I know. Jerusha, what is your last recommendation?
So I'm sticking kind of with the dark theme. It's very serious. 90 Day Fiancé.
Nice.
I don't know.
I didn't know they streamed that on Hulu, huh?
They have 3 of the 6 versions of 90 Day Fiancé on Hulu.
Okay.
There's 11 seasons that you can watch. A lot of time to lose yourself.
Wait, explain the premise of this to me, because I've seen 30. No, hold on. Married at First Sight, I think it is. Is that the same? Like it's the same kind of production company?
No, it's not
or what is
tricking
it?
people into marrying people that they're not attracted to for drama.
Not to say there aren't there isn't trickery going on.
It's reality TV, so there has to be a little bit.
Okay, so it is reality TV. Okay, but what is 90 Day Fiancé?
There is a 90-day visa, like a fiancé visa that America has. So if you want to bring someone over, they can come over and you have 90 days to decide if you want to get married or not, or if you want to kick them back to whatever country they're from.
This sounds horrible. This sounds like the Hunger Games.
Well, most of them like stick it out. A little spoiler. But like, it's good. It's fun to watch and just judge. And at least that's not my life.
That's awesome.
So Sarah and her sister watches this every once in a while. And then when I catch it in passing, I'm just shocked at some of the things that like
Oh, okay. So I've seen the show. I was trying to go through all the seasons to see.
They're so mean.
I've seen season 4 where there was like an Eastern European girl that married like the guy who was selling pot, who had like a pot.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I've seen. Yeah.
Georgian and Fiza.
Yeah. In fact, In fact, right now, I think
Yes.
because the guy went to jail for some reason for like tax evasion or something,
he
right?
had like
currently.
Oh, man.
pounds and pounds of weed in his car, and he was pulled over.
That's what it was.
Like what he does. He's like rich, but like they don't really allude to what they're like. It's within the weed business, but it's definitely shady and illegal.
Yeah. And I think they're in a state where it's not like
California.
legalized. It's not like
they're in LA.
Well, I think even then I was.
But there's still like all these like different types of licenses shit you gotta do.
You can't
50 pounds of weed in your car.
No,
like,
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
No, allegedly it was 293 pounds.
I don't even know how you fit that much in a car.
That's 3 people.
Yeah. And so this guy went to jail. He's currently in jail, and he lost all the weight. This is why I still know this. He lost all the weight, and they said, "Oh, are you going to come back?" Because he's still married to the girl. And he's like, "Well, no, because she cheated on me while I was in jail, and I have a new body, so I'm going to divorce her and get another."
That would
because he lost all the weight because he was a bigger dude.
And like I think the stress, like you can kind of see his weight fluctuate because he's on like original 90 Day Fiance, and then they have 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After ? And then he's on like 3 seasons of that before he got arrested. And that one, like,
is she just horrible? I didn't follow that. So is she just horrible? Because she's horrible in the season I watched.
And she never backed down from being the worst. But like her whole thing is like, I married you for money. You didn't actually have $1 million. You had slightly less than $1 million. And then you spent it all on me. And now you don't have any more money. I hate you. And she hits him like all the time. It's horrible.
Whoa.
But
okay, and I'm just reading here because when I was watching the show, I didn't realize this is what was happening. But apparently they moved into a hotel initially and there was no explanation for why he did not have his own place to live.
No, just we're in a hotel. It's normal. These are normal people doing normal things.
He's like, look, I can't. The law can't know where I'm at. We got to move a room every day.
Changing it up.
We must sleep in a different bed every night.
Yeah.
And my name is not my actual name.
Oh man.
I've seen this show. It is like I said. I literally just walked into the 4th season. Here's some. I'm going to reveal something very horrible about myself. I kind of dig trashy reality things to like numb myself. Okay, so so these are my jams. I like the Duggar show where it's all the Christian fundamentalist family that has like kids. Yeah. That I like. Little People, Big World. I'm big on that. And then I watched the show where they get tricked into marrying somebody.
Is great too.
Yeah. Because they're staying there and then their family's like, I don't know why this person's doing this. This is a stupid idea. And then they meet the person they're marrying that day, and then like it's just very awkward because they're like, we're now on our honeymoon. Technically, we should hook up, but we don't know each other. That's weird. Yeah. Some couples do. They're like, oh, well, I actually think he's very attractive or she's very attractive, and some don't. And like, it's funny because the couple I followed, the one that didn't hook up right away, is the ones that I think they're still married, actually. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great way to lose yourself and not like you're like, you know what? At least I'm not on the show.
American reality shows are amazing in like how like people, you know, they should get Oscars for the level of high level editing that goes on in these shows. Because like a good microcosm of that is like the British version of Kitchen Nightmares versus the American version. Like you watched a British version of Kitchen Nightmares and it's Gordon Ramsay kind of like calmly going into a restaurant and like eating the food. And he goes, you know, I think your issue is that you're just not like separating the plates out enough. Or like, you know, I think if with a little time, if we just know how to blah, blah, blah. And then you go into the American version and he goes, what the fuck is this shit? I found a dead rat in your front door. I'm out of here. I'm never talking to you ever again. This is impossible. And then like, and you see the level of editing they do. Like they will cut him out in a mat and copy paste him into scenes he wasn't in, like to heighten the drama.
That's amazing.
Well,
yeah,
we love the drama. We love the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other show I like is Naked and
that's
Afraid.
a good one too.
Yeah, that's my go-to. Like, I'm not doing too well today.
That's really great high concept titling. Like, it's a perfect. You don't need anything else to understand what you're about to watch.
No, yeah, and the thing about Naked and Afraid is that, like, yeah, it's highly edited and stuff, but like, there's no hiding anything. Like, it's not like, well, we're gonna keister fucking Hershey Kisses. No, there's nothing. You're naked. You can't hide food. There was one couple who stole food from the production staff. They actually snuck into the camp at night, and they got kicked off. They got kicked off because they found out.
But okay, if you're crafty enough to be able to do that, like that, come on.
Yeah, that's just like another level of the challenge. Is like,
that's meta.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the rules that said you can't steal from other things.
You're hunting from the land, and if the land has a production crew, it's fair game. Jerusha, thank you for bringing that.
And there's also Before the 90 Days on Hulu as well, and I think they have 2 seasons of that, where an American goes to another country before they bring the person back, which they also did on regular 90 Day Fiancé, but then I think they decided they could make a whole other show, which they love to do, so then they branched out, which is also amazing. There's some kooks in there.
Spin-offs.
There are
great.
5 spin-offs. He keeps spawning.
This is the Cosby Show?
Yeah. This is the Cosby Show reality TV.
Is.
I love it. That's great. We needed this. Thanks for bringing
Thank you,
Jerusha.
Anytime.
My last recommendation is, I guess it's kind of a downer, I think. It's from 2018. It is Annihilation.
Yeah.
By one Alex Garland. We've all 3 of us have seen this, correct? Okay. Do y'all like it?
Yeah.
Okay. So for people who who don't know about Alex Garland, he is a writer, he's a director, creator. So I'll read some of his previous work and then we'll get to this. He wrote The Beach. He wrote the novel To the Beach, which later got turned into a movie. He wrote 28 Days Later. He wrote Sunshine, Never Let Me Go, Dread, Ex Machina, and Annihilation. He also wrote, if you're into video games, he wrote Devil May Cry, the first one. He directed Ex Machina and this one, Annihilation.
It's actually, he wrote Devil May Cry, the remake.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
which is actually one of the weaker points of his career.
Really?
So yeah,
you don't like this remake one?
Let's just say, it's like if it's 90s edgelord, but it's 10 years too late.
All right.
That's
well,
the problem.
The thing is,
that's the problem with Devil May Cry.
I played Devil May Cry. I don't know which one it is because they're all called Devil May Cry. So I don't know. I played one of them. Could have been it. Don't know.
Did he wear like a Union Jack on a really dirty looking jacket, and he had like short hair?
No.
Oh, he had long hair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a different Devil May Cry. Yeah, that's a very Japanese Devil May Cry. The remake is very like, fuck you. I'm gonna fuck strippers left and right, eat pizza, and kill you because fuck you.
I'm in, dude. I'm in. This isn't a bad point of it. It works for me. Okay, Annihilation. It's hard to explain this. Basically, it's four biologists get sent into like this secret expedition to like study this mysterious zone that the laws of nature don't apply to, and you don't know if it's like aliens, if it's some weird phenomena. It takes place in the future, but not too far into the future. It's a really, the best way I could describe it is it's like a weird fever dream. It's like the closest I've felt to being high without actually being high. I saw this movie sober, and I was like, I'm high. So somebody spiked my popcorn. I read the book at first. I read the book like a couple of years before the movie adaptation, and it felt the same way. And I can't believe he captured that same feeling because it felt. You read the book too, right?
That's one of my favorite book trilogies.
I haven't read the sequels. Are they good?
The first one is so great that they're pale in comparison, but they're still good, and I think it rounds it out pretty well. But
Did he take from the sequels to make this movie, or was it just the first?
Which is kind of when the sort of scandal of how he whitewashed it was because none of the races of the characters came up till the second book. So he said he didn't read that, so he didn't know that anyone was supposed to be.
Well, it's pretty well. I mean, so the cast is now they're all female leads. The ones that go into the expedition, and it's Natalie Portman, it's Gina Rodriguez, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Tessa Thompson. Right? Mm-hmm. Am I forgetting somebody? No, that's it. Right?
There's the two other.
Oh, is there a third? No.
Yeah, because there's the French lady. I don't know if she's French. She has an accent.
Someone named Cass? Was someone named Cass in the too?
Here's the thing. This I swear to God, this feels like I was.
That's not the important part of the movie.
That's not the important part. No, it's just the tone, the feeling. Everyone's great in it, and they're all female protagonists. It's really well done. It's one of those movies where you're like, are these people going crazy? Is it where they're at? It's what they're inhaling. What is going on? And it is beautifully made. It's beautifully directed. If you have a really good sound system, a lot of people go, oh well, if you don't have a sound system, you lose all the cool elements. But tell you what, put on some headphones and watch this movie. It feels just as good. It's really well made.
Genuinely scary sound design.
Yeah. There's a scene where there's a creature that attacks somebody. I won't say in what part, but it's one of the scariest things you'll ever see. And this isn't a horror movie. This is a sci-fi movie. But it's very, very, very scary. Definitely look, if you're really easily scared, maybe don't watch it at night. That's what I say. But it also stars Oscar Isaac is in it. Benedict Wong is in it.
Benedict Wong's in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool supporting cast members in this. But yeah, check it out. He just writes really well. And he's a really good director.
It's like I haven't read the book, but the movie feels to me like he either just read Roadside Picnic or he watched Stalker again and was like, I want to do my own take on that. Because it's just this surreal idea of there's this fucked up place and let's just throw people in and using their own backstory, use these characters' own backstories. How's it all gonna get fucked up?
Yeah.
It's really, really terrifying.
Yeah.
Because that terrifying is wrong. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very uncomfortable movie.
Yeah.
It didn't do very well at the box office, unfortunately.
No, and there was talk. I mean, it did so well with critics, I think, but not financially.
I think worldwide they should have because worldwide they released it on Netflix. I feel like they should have just also released it on Netflix here because I think it would have maybe had more of I mean, granted, you would miss out on the theater experience of it, but I didn't watch it in theaters, and I still think it was a fantastic movie if you watch it in the right setting. So it's
I will say that it definitely you're 100% right with it's not that it's not a horror movie, but the tension that it brings and the feeling it gives you, it definitely it borders on horror, the feeling, because you don't know what's going on, meaning emotionally.
It's like a
really
Hulu-esque, where you're just oh, you're not. What are you looking at? Sometimes,
yeah. It's definitely a movie where, I mean, it's not a great recommendation for what we're going through right now because it just will put you in a weird state of mind. But if you're willing to go on the ride, it's just go with it. It's a great movie. This guy also he created the new show on FX called Devs. which is airing right now.
Yeah,
You're
I was
watching
gonna
it, right?
recommend it, but
Jerusha?
it's not done, so I didn't want to I don't know, recommend it. But
Okay, and that's on Hulu.
it's
Well, it's
streaming.
FX,
Yeah,
but it's
I would
streaming on
recommend
Hulu.
it for sure.
I haven't watched any of it because I was
So
waiting
you
for
can
it
just
to be
binge
done
it.
and then
Yeah, I
just
think
binge
it's
watch it.
almost done. I think it has like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
episode left.
Okay, and it's starring who's in it? The guy from Parks and
as
Rec.
Nick Offerman, and
Nick
it has I
Yes.
forget what her name is, but she's in Ex Machina. She's like the robot that dances with Oscar Isaac, and she's
Oh, okay.
she's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
is
The Japanese
she's-
lady.
Yes, she is. She's
Mhm.
amazing in Ex Machina. This is another movie that you find it, Ex Machina. I love Annihilation, but my favorite of his movies is
Yeah.
probably still Ex Machina.
I would say so. I mean, Ex Machina was so good that people immediately started
Yeah.
stealing from it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, immediately. Yeah, and like Oscar Isaac, I
Yeah.
think that's one of his best performances. He's just so good in that. This guy's 2 for 2. This guy's had a. Usually, directors have like a sophomore slump, but this guy, he's doing fucking great. I can't wait to see what he does next. And he's written some great stuff, like Never Let Me Go. It's a great book and it's a great script. It's a great movie. So yeah, check out Annihilation. Is there any honorable mentions you just want to like spit out that you had on your list? I don't have anything.
I will say I have 4. Because
Throw 'em out.
I just backups. If Beale Street Could Talk, great movie.
Yes.
Oh my God, what's the director's name? I forget his name.
He did Moonlight, right?
Yeah.
Barry Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins, yeah. Like, so his follow up, not as good as Moonlight, but it's definitely like in the same vein of like we're following a certain type of experience.
Yeah.
So it's really well made. One of the most touching love stories in movies for a while. Also, actually one of my lists you already mentioned, Hunt for the Wilder People, and
Nice.
then Fighting with My Family, which is for me, I personally love it because I love wrestling, but it's basically just like a family movie, like not a movie for families, but like a movie about a family and like growing up in a wrestling family, specifically for Paige, who is a current wrestler in WWE. And
It's based on her life.
Yeah, it's like loosely based on her life. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's supposed to kind of be biographical, but in a very broad way,
And it stars the girl who's like in everything. She's really good. Yes, Florence Pugh.
She's
great.
there's Nick
She's great in
Frost in
everything.
it. The Rock's in it.
Yeah.
So, and then the last one I would mention is Columbus, starring John Choi, who's about to be in Cowboy Bebop remake. But basically, Columbus is like a movie about a guy who's going back home to Columbus, Indiana, and because he's from South Korea, and he comes back to Columbus, Indiana, to kind of like watch over his father, who is like, I think he's sick or in a coma or something. I don't quite remember. And then he meets a lady, Haley Lou Richardson, and basically the movie is about them kind of getting to know each other while they go around examining Columbus, Indiana's architecture. It's like a city that's actually famous for architecture. It's a great movie. It's actually produced. I'm just gonna throw a bit in there. It's produced by 2 of my friends, and then also someone who the person who did I don't want to say their names out loud because I don't want to just do that, but she also did a costume design for my movie. She also did it for Columbus. It's a big step up, I should say.
Nice.
But it's a really like one of those movies where like the performance, John Cho, I think it's one of the best performances John Cho has given in a very, very long time. And he's been on a stint where he's been giving lots of great performances lately. Like the one where he was the one with all webcams. I forget what that one's called. Yeah. So that one, he's a great performance in that too. He's been on a roll. But it's a very quiet movie and it's very introspective, and it's just kind of like, if you want to like spend an afternoon kind of just watching like a really beautifully shot movie with great performances, that's kind of quiet and, just more about talking about feelings and stuff and looking at cool architecture. That's Columbus.
Nice. I dig this. What's her name? The actress in it, Haley Lou Richardson. I think she's really good.
Yeah, she's amazing in that movie as well.
Yeah. Jerusha, you have any honorable mentions?
It was Nathan for you. Yeah. So,
Nice. It's a
like,
teaser,
I guess,
right?
reality.
That's
But
yeah.
It's Nathan Fielder just trying to fix businesses, doing it horribly, but hilariously. Yeah,
and for real.
Great.
It's not a lie. Like all of it actually happened.
A lot of them are like in LA, so you can just do a big
visit the actual places.
Yeah, like remember when people were wondering what dumb Starbucks was, and then it turned out it was this thing. And it's like amazing because he takes it so far where you're yelling at the TV. That's too far. You've gone way too far.
People still go with it, which is great. It's like when just a normal person is going along with whatever he's doing. Like the first thing he does is make like poop flavored froyo, and no one says this is a bad idea. Stop it. They just go with it.
Actually, I'll throw a shout out on this show. It's funny because I've been checking in with friends like while we're trapped for foreseeable future. I just been like, okay, who haven't I talked to in a while? And like I usually how I do it is I go through like my Facebook Messenger and text and Instagram messaging and see like who what was my first message, and then I'll kind of go from there. Like, oh, I haven't talked to this person in a long time, and I've been kind of checking in with people like just to make sure. I mean, some people are single and they're just kind of trapped in their house and don't have anybody to talk to, so like I'll talk to them. I just been in general checking in with people. Plus it's a good way to reconnect. And one of my friends, I had helped him get like his first like internship. And then I was talking to him and I'm like, what have you been up to? He's like, just editing. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, like I'm kind of doing the same thing over here, and he's like, and then I looked up his IMDb and I'm like, dude, you edited episodes of Nathan for You? He's like, yeah, I directed like 2 episodes. And I'm like, what else have you directed? And then I looked at his IMDb and he's like directed Portlandia, Pearl Show, the Eric Andre Show. Check it out with Dr. Steve Brule. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. Why didn't you check in earlier, dude? And he's like, I don't know, dude. But anyway, that lesson to be learned. Check in with your friends because you never know where they're at. But yeah, so check out Nathan for You. And that was your only quick
Romancing the Stone was on there, so that was
nice.
I'm glad you got that.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Jerusha. It was really fun. Hopefully you didn't hate it and you'll do it again. Quick business at the end of the show. We're gonna be doing another episode of the Canon film series. We're gonna be covering Down Twisted, The Barbarians, Number One with a Bullet, and Mannequin. Marvin and I are busy doing that. Hopefully soon.
I've been watching.
And if you want to follow along at home and want to follow these, Mannequin, I think is great. I forgot now. I know Down Twisted is listed under a different name, but it's on Amazon streaming. But check it out. Check out the name it's streaming under. So just type in Down Twisted alternate name and it'll give you the name. I think Barbarians and Mannequin are streaming also on Netflix, I believe, or Amazon. And Number One with the Bullet is the one I'm having a hard time with, but I'm tracking it down. We'll find it. There's always the internet. But Barbarian seems like the one that's going to be the most interesting to watch. And Mannequin I haven't watched in years, so that'll be a treat. To check keep subscribing, tell a friend, I don't know, help us out. We had a lot of listeners and then I checked the numbers and we're like, it's not what I thought it was gonna be. But compared to like how we left off, which was like, we're at a point, it's a couple million hits. But you know what? Tell a friend. Maybe they were listening and now they're not because they unsubscribed from their apps. But now we're on Google Podcasts. We're on basically everything. I'm gonna check on the iTunes feed. If you followed us before, I know it's popping up again. Because I know I have a few friends who like texted me like, "Hey, you're doing it again," and I'm like, "How did you find out?" It's like, "Oh, it came up on my iTunes feed." So if you were subscribed before, it just pops up. But I'm gonna refresh that. But we're on like everything. I think we're on like Stitcher, Google Podcast, Podbean. Just go to the Instagram feed and you'll see some cool stuff. Maybe not. I don't know. All right. And also check out Marvin's YouTube channel where he plays through video games with Dan. It is Fugitive Films. The channel's called Fugitive Games. Fugitive Films is a production company.
Yeah, Fugitive Frames was our production company, and then Fugitive Games we just did it because it rhymed.
There's a link on our website, and if you go to filmpodcast.com, but you have to click on the left hand corner, top corner, and it'll give you all my links. It's the only link there. You can't get lost.
You can also just go to YouTube and look up Fugitive Games, and it should show up.
Or just type in on Google YouTube /Fugitive Games. It'll pop up. There's so many ways. The internet. All right. Subscribe, tell a friend, or not. We don't care. If you have any complaints, type them up and then hit send, and then I won't read them because I don't read messages. So, thank you. If you have any recommendations for stuff we should do, any lists, send those. I'll probably read those. So the easiest way to get in contact is again through the Instagram feed or the Twitter feed. I actually read the DMs. I know a lot of people started following again on Twitter. So check that out. Thank you again for listening and have a good week.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.